Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho, and today we're coming up on August, so we're going to be doing the August elemental readings, and today we're doing fire, and August has approximately 5 weeks, so we'll be doing a 5-week reading. I read intuitively, so the messages that come through may not be what the cards exactly mean, but they're the messages that are supposed to come through at this time. But before we get into the cards, we're going to start with what I'm doing for this quarter, seeing what you guys think, which is we're doing an I Ching hexagram, and let me see if I find we're doing fire today. And fire's hexagram, and I cast these earlier so that I don't have to do them on stream. It takes way too much time to do them on stream. But the fire elemental energy for the month of August is hexagram 46, and it is ascending and promotion. The text is ascending supreme success. It is essential to see a great man so as to banish anxiety. Progressing towards the south brings good fortune. And what that basically means is at the proper time the weak will ascend. Gentleness and willing acceptance are conjoined. A firm line is essential and wins response, hence greater success is foretold. What is said about freedom from anxiety can be gained from visiting a great man indicates that this is the way to gain blessings. Going south brings good fortune in the sense that it will lead to the fulfillment that is willed. So, and when they talk about great man, it's the culture. It could be anyone who's great, but that's the symbol we're talking about. Now let's break down the lines. The bottom one is the certainty of promotion, great good fortune, sorry. So basically your foundation for this upcoming month is something is going to be growing positively, a promotion. It could be a pay raise. It could be making that connection with somebody that you haven't made before or you've been wanting to make. But it's really starting off, your foundational aspect of August is pretty positive. The second line is full of faith. He performs the summer sacrifice. And so this is something. You've given up something, you've sacrificed. It could be time, it could be effort, it could be whatever that is, but it's because of your faith in it that sacrifice is leading you forward into this next level of prosperity. The third line is he was promoted in a large city. This basically says that what we're doing, there's no doubt in our mind as a fire energy that what you're doing is correct, and it's time to take that stand. So basically there's not much in your way is what this is saying so far. In the fourth line, the king is sacrificed on Mount Chi, good fortune and no error. And so even though you're having to sacrifice, it's something that you're willing to do. It's your compliance, so to speak, with the cultural norms. So it's kind of a sacrifice, but it's also something that you're willing to do because it's being blessed by the divine. And the fifth line is righteousness persists, bringing good fortune, but the ascent must be made step by step. This is an encouragement of no matter what's going on, even though there may be something going on with having to sacrifice or something that's almost feels like a roadblock or you can't quite see down the road how far, the fifth line is saying keep going. The next step is all you need to worry about. Just take the next step and keep going. And so it's basically saying you can climb the ascending mountain by just taking the next steps. And at the very peak, we have a night ascent. Advantage lies in unremitting persistence. So even though the night is coming in, it's not really a loss for you. I mean, there could be a little bit of a dark period, but that's a period of rest because things are moving quickly and you're going forward fairly rapidly according to the hexagram. And what that's saying is keep going, take those next steps. take the rest when it comes available for you. It's not something you just want to plow through continuously, because you're going to need to take a break or you will exhaust yourself, and that exhaustion is really the only trip up that's coming through with that particular hexagram. So with that, let's hop into the cards and see what they have to say today. And I read the first a guide or guardian for each week, a message from source, which is a positive supporting energy that comes through from God, source, divine energy, and then we look at a lesson or a challenge from the tarot. If you're interested in any of the decks I'm using, they're linked in the description below. And with that, if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, comment below any thoughts, ideas, concerns, and we'll get going. So your first guide is the angel group Expect Miracles. So this first week is really about you being open and working with your angels to be open to what positive aspects of life can come through. This is really saying, just like with the hexagram, this is going to be your month to shine. Leo falls under fire, as does Aries and Sagittarius, but we're in August, so it's more Leo month. But it's really talking about, this is your month, so step up and claim that month for what it is, and allow yourself to really experience the prosperity and learn to expect. And that sounds weird to say, especially in today's world, but instead of expecting things to go a certain negative way, expect the miraculous. Expect the stuff that you've been planning for, working towards, doing your meditations on. Expect that to be coming in, especially this first week. Or at least the first glimmers of it are supposed to be coming through this first week. Your message from Source is Spirit of the River, movement towards adventure. So things may be becoming more miraculous, but you're also going to be having a lot of fun doing it. And it's that Spirit of the River is going with the flow, tapping into that fluid state where you're open to the experience. And as the experiences come, you'll have the experience and you'll have the next one, but you're in this moment, but you're also in a flow state. So it's not static. You're not sitting still. Nothing's happening. This is boring. You're in a very dynamic life. And it's this adventurous activities in this life that are what is bringing you this joy. And being fire, you want to move. You want to keep going. So the message is expect the miracles, but also be willing to go with the flow, because it's going to be a fun ride and it's going to be a long ride. But two cards came out from the tarot. So these are lessons or challenges to be aware of. The first one is the Six of Autumn. The good you do comes back to you, an unexpected inflow of money, borrowing wisely or repaying a debt. And the second one is number 7, so this is Major Arcana. It is the Chariot, success that comes from dedication and self-discipline, celebrating your accomplishments, being in the spotlight. Your challenge is to be open to accepting these. Your challenge, from what I'm hearing from my guides, is during this first week, are you willing to accept the miraculous? Are you willing to accept the beneficial? And it could be financial, but they're also saying it could be in a relationship. And they brought that up earlier too. This first week could be a benefit in your relationships. It could be a strength within your finances. But are you willing? Because the Six of Autumn is really about finances coming in, a positive aspect of hearth and home. It's earth energy. So we're working with the Six of Autumn with really anchoring into the house, the home, the finances. But the Chariot's saying it's coming quickly, but are you ready for it? Are you in the headspace for things to improve? And that's some stuff to think about this first week of August for fire. Let's look at let's look at the second week of August with a guide or guardian, because it could be a guide or it could be a guardian protecting you. That's why I use that phrasing. And we have forgiveness and understanding as your angel class. So during the first week, it was expecting miracles, but the second week, it's as things are coming in, and things are opening up. Are you ready to accept and be willing to receive the benefits that are flowing into you? But the forgiveness is not just about forgiving other people. That's a part of it, and that's where that understanding comes in, where you can understand where another person is coming from. But the forgiveness, they're also saying, is forgiving yourself, tapping into, looking into, journaling out, however that works. The things in your past that you may be regretting, you may think that they're not the greatest things in the world that ever happened to you, and you feel guilt, you feel resentment. This guide is coming in to say, forgive yourself, understand where you were at in that moment if you can, and release that guilt. There's a lesson to be learned in any of those old situations, and this card is saying, let's look at this stuff, let's let it go, let's clear it out, there's no reason to carry it anymore, and move forward. And you'll clear out what you're ready to clear out. You're not going to do it all in one day. It'd be nice if you could, but what's going to come up and what's going to work out is what is ready to be released in this time. So working with the forgiveness and understanding angels is a good way to get that process moving. Your message from Source is the Wailing Tree, reconciliation. If there's someone in your life that you may have, because of your own resentments and your own frustrations, that you may have pushed away, may have damaged a friendship, the message from Source is allow yourself to heal, and then, as long as it's, a healthy situation, reach out and try to mend the bridge, maybe at least release the anger with the other person. And if that's someone physical that you can do that with safely, then do that. But the other thing is, you can write out a letter and offer it to fire and air, burning in other words, to release the conflict. If they've already passed over, you can do it through meditation, but just find a way to reconcile, fix the things that were maybe not the greatest. As you forgive and understand yourself, you're forgiving and understanding others, and that comes with the reconnection, the reconciliation, if you will, of fixing those relationships. Sometimes it's with your inner child, sometimes it's with another person, but the message from Source is find a way to safely work through any conflict that you have had in the past and heal those wounds. So your message from Source, or your lesson or challenge from the tarot, is number 18, the Moon. So we're working with water energy here, so this is going to be a little bit opposite of fire. And it's powerful, intuitive epiphanies, letting go of worry and fear, understanding the truth in a situation. So your lesson or your challenge is, as you're working through this week, you're learning to forgive and understand yourself and other people for things that have happened. You're working on reconciling and rebuilding the connection, or at least putting salve on the wound to heal the wounds. And the Moon is coming in saying this is a time to really tap into your intuition, to help you understand where the other person was, or to understand where you were at the time that it happened in your past if you're working on forgiving yourself. The Moon is here to help you feel through the situation, tapping into your deeper emotions, which is not something that you're probably comfortable with. You're used to happiness, joy, passion, things like that. But the Moon is saying there's subtle ones. Sadness, depression, anxiety that you have to kind of cycle through to be able to forgive. And through the forgiveness, you release the hold that those energies have over you. And so the Moon is your lesson in the second week of learning to follow your inner guidance and learning to be okay with the emotions, even if they're not what you would like to be feeling in the moment. Let's look at the third week for August. It is the inner child healing. So the first week, you're expecting miracles. You're working on things. It's a really positive start to the week. The second week, you're forgiving and you're starting to understand things. And in this third week, it's time to work on the inner self. The outer world is taken care of. I mean, the first week pretty much explains everything's coming in the way it's supposed to. The second week is where you're mending the stuff inside and outside. But this third week, they're showing me is really about being inside, working on your inner aspects of yourself. Your inner child may just need a little hug, it may just need to be acknowledged. But working on the inner child is working on the younger aspects of you, like the root causes of emotional distress and trauma in the now moment. The inner child is where you set your first foundations for things that become later. So working back and working with your inner child, you can actually fix a lot of things in the moment by tracking them back to where they started, going back to the root. Some people use regression hypnotherapy to help with that, but this third week is really about, where did this start? Anything that's going on that's not where it needs to be, where did it start? Because you can go back and work through a forgiveness pattern, and it will heal in the now time, the stuff that was going on back then. Because the miracles that are coming in are all around you. They're for every part of you. So healing and releasing, forgiving and understanding is a way to really incorporate those miracles into this now moment as well. Your message from Source is lay of the land, the ancestral wisdom. And this is saying, as you're going back to your inner child, you're also tapping into the ancestral lines, both masculine and the feminine, going back ad infinitum. So you've got this long line of people who are willing to step forward and help you, your ancestors. It could be people in this lifetime that are still alive, your elders who are here to help, but they're also saying that the spirits that go back through your bloodlines and your spiritual bloodline, or your spiritual lines, are willing to help you understand how to heal. And sometimes that is a challenge, because it's like, okay, well, here's the problem, how do I fix it? That's when you can call upon your ancestors, your guides, and your loved ones to help you work through, help you process, and then by doing so, you're going to release that hiccup and glitch that's in the way. And the whole purpose of doing this kind of healing is to open the door to even more of the miraculous and more of the positivity. So these are just some things to be thinking about through the month. Your lesson or challenge from the tarot is the Four of Autumn. Manage your resources wisely. Achieve a balance in how you spend and save. Help those who are less fortunate. So as you're going through your inner child healing, you're working with your ancestors, you may be led to help other people, or you may be trying to distract yourself from what you should be doing in your inner world, because there's so much going on outside. So you're not spending your time wisely, and this card is just a reminder to take care of the inner world. The outer world will be fixed as you fix the inner world. As above, so below, as within, so without type of a thing. But it's really about doing the stuff out there. That's fine. That needs to be done as well. But don't neglect what's going on inside, because the inner child healing is very important this third week of August. So let's look at the fourth week of August for 2023 fire. And now we're into self-acceptance. You've done the healing, you've done the work, and now it's time to revel in who you are at this time. You've forgiven yourself, you've come to understand where things are, why people possibly do what they do, and you've worked on your inner world. You've healed it, and when that happens, you start to become, I can't remember the name of the person anyway, but you could become so infatuated and so in love with yourself, and you accept yourself as you are. You can always get better, but in this moment, you're happy. And the self-acceptance is saying, I love me for me. Yeah, there might be some things I want to fix. That's great. I love those things because those are lessons I can use to expand. I love the fact that maybe my skin's not the clearest. That's fine. I can learn to eat better, wash better, whatever it is that you're doing, change your soaps. But it's self-acceptance. I love who I am in this moment, and I love myself so much I want to improve and take it to the next level. But it's all about loving in this now, who you are at this time. And let's look at the message for this fourth week. And we have the Garden of Venus, rest and renewal. So self-acceptance is also self-care, and the message from the Garden of Venus is really about stepping into that rest, stepping into that relaxation as you're looking into this view of the flowers, and it's almost like you're being invited into a sacred space. Take the time in this 4th week to really revel in self-care, whether it's just taking an evening off, putting your feet up, getting a massage. Really take the time with the self-acceptance and the self-appreciation and self-love to tap into resting and reveling in the fact that you are a divine gift from source. You are a star, could be a star seed, you could be an earth angel, but you are here for a reason, and that reason is your special mission, and that is really something unique to you, and that makes you very special in your own way. And this is the 4th week is really about tapping into that. Your lesson or challenge is the 7 of Summer. No more procrastinating. Your power comes from making decision. Confusion arises from overanalyzing. Don't overthink things this week. That's really the whole purpose. Self-acceptance is loving who you are, even with your flaws. You can always improve, and you love the lessons as you improve. Taking the time to rest, recharge, and relax with the Garden of Venus. And your lesson or your challenge is don't overthink about it and don't procrastinate. Take the time in this 4th week to really do self-care. Really, maybe revamp your diet a little bit, maybe look at a different exercise plan, but ways to take care of yourself because you love who you are, but you're also willing to grow within that loving relationship with yourself. So let's look at the last week of August for 2023 for fire. And nope. Deck's usually pretty talkative, but it's being a little interesting on this last one. So there we go. And for the last week, you have vulnerability and freedom. As you become more aware of who you are, your guard doesn't need to be up as much because you have nothing to hide when you are authentic. And to some people, that may come across as they may feel vulnerable because when you're not holding something in, you're not trying to put up a face, it may make you feel vulnerable because what if they don't like the real me? The freedom doesn't matter. When you're being your authentic self, you're being your unique star, you're standing on your own weirdness, so to speak. That is freedom in a way that a lot of people will never understand. So this 4th week is saying it's okay to drop that and let people see the real you, because the real you, the people who are supposed to be there, are going to support you. And there is unbelievable freedom in throwing those masks aside. There's times for them. It's just like your ego. It's a tool. You'll need it at times. But the vulnerability that you might feel at the beginning is just a little bit of uncomfortableness. The reward is spiritual, mental, and emotional freedom, and it's so worth it. So let's look at your message from Source. It is the horned cactus, resourcefulness. With that freedom, you're going to notice things are falling into place in a much more rapid way. You might see a way to tweak something to make it better, but that's that resourcefulness. It's that using the skills that you were given to their best possible outcome. But when you're free to do that because you're being authentic, you have nothing to hide, you're not lying to anybody, that's when that resourcefulness comes through. But the resourcefulness is also a double-edged sword. You can be tied to your gifts and bound by them, or you can be free to say, no, I don't need to do that. Yeah, I know how, I don't have to. That's that freedom of I choose to do the things that I do, and I choose not to do the things I don't want to do. And that's what this 4th week is really pointing, or 5th week is pointing towards, is doing the things that are basically the things within your wheelhouse that you can do, and the things that, because everything's an exchange of energy, that you are being repaid energetically in kind for doing. You don't want to overpour because you really can't pour from an empty cup. So doing that self-care, and this works into that vulnerability and freedom, and being resourceful with your time. That doesn't mean spending everything, doesn't mean saving everything. It's knowing when to spend and when to save. And that can go for money, resources, talents, etc. And your lesson or challenge is the Empress. Time to take action, the power of creativity, success that allows for a life of luxury. The luxury is you get to choose what you do with your time, with your money, and your life. So your lesson or challenge is, remember, as the miraculous comes in, you're working through some stuff, which we all do, but it's this inner healing that is building towards this ultimate success. And the Empress, as a lesson or a challenge, is saying, just because it's coming in and it feels super easy, it doesn't mean you have to stop. It's that whole don't procrastinate and don't slack off. But the Empress is saying there's movement going on. Keep going, it gets better. So hopefully these messages resonate with you guys. If you enjoyed this video and this type of content, please drop a like and subscribe on the video and the channel. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or even criticisms, as long as we're respectful, drop those in the comments down below. With that, I will see you guys in the next video, and have an awesome month of August.